anything worth fighting for, anything worth living for, is not easy. It takes blood, sweat, and tears. It can be painful. It can hurt. But if I can tell you one thing tonight, hold on. Never give up. Thank you so much. Thank you. Before I start, I do want to thank Phil Brown and the Needs Beyond Medicine team for all that they do for cancer patients, including me when I was first diagnosed. So thank you so much, and for this canSURVIVE event too. Yeah, thank you. I also cannot even begin to tell you about my journey without mentioning a group of women. There are two of them here tonight at this table, but some of them couldn't make it. But I am here, standing here in part because of them. They've literally saved my life, and they've saved me in so many other ways too, so I just have to give them a shout out. So thank you. My name is Kirsten. I was diagnosed in February of 2017. With a blood and bone cancer called multiple myeloma. And my multiple myeloma came with an additional fairly rare disease called amyloidosis. And that's a thick protein that gets into your blood, and it eventually attacks your organs. And it took my kidneys. So my official diagnosis was third stage, or the last stage, of multiple myeloma with amyloidosis and end-stage renal disease, or kidney failure. So when I was hospitalized, I started a lot of treatments. I had no clue what they were. But I did start chemotherapy and dialysis. And for those of you that don't know what dialysis is, they give you a catheter, they connect you to a machine, and the machine acts as your kidneys. So my treatments were 4 hours at a time, and I'd have to do that for 3 days a week for the rest of my life. There are only 3 ways to get off of dialysis. One is your disease takes you eventually and you pass away. 2 is if you just don't even want to start treatment, or you can stop treatment at any time if you've just had enough, and then eventually you do pass away because you can't last very long. 3rd way is a kidney transplant. So my diagnosis and my prognosis were pretty grim. The oncologist didn't even think I would survive. The nephrologist smiled, but I knew I'd never get a kidney transplant, and I was also told that. So I just thought, oh my gosh, what the H-E double hockey sticks? And I said, you know what, let me pull up my pants and let's start this thing and let's see how far I can go. Well, let's fast forward I had 2 bone marrow transplants, chemo, blood transfusions, platelet replacements, infusions, what else? Oh gosh. And I was found blacked out and unconscious on several occasions. The worst one was in January of 2020, January 15th. And one of my angels, who isn't here tonight, found me, but she called another angel. And I was intubated. And the doctors and everything told all of my friends and family to come to say their goodbyes because there was no chance that I was going to survive. I had spots all over my brain and all kinds of stuff wrong with me. And if I did happen to survive, they didn't know what shape I'd be in. But honestly, by some miracle, by a lot of prayers, by awesome providers, I came out of it, and I could talk, and I could sort of think. I could think. But I made it, and so there we go. We dodged another bullet. Then fast forward 1.5 years later. Yes, I was blacking out, unconscious again, and another angel found me, got to the hospital, and this time, even though that 2020 was really bad, this one for some reason hit me harder emotionally. I was going on 5 years of fighting cancer and on chemo and on dialysis for almost 5 years. And I was getting burnt out and I was tired. And they took me off a lot of medications and changed them up, and that always makes me a little kooky. But anyway, so I got out of the hospital and I went to dialysis, and this was probably August, beginning of September of 2021. And I said, the nephrologist came in, and I just said, hey, is there any way I could ever get a kidney transplant. And he looked at me and he said, Kirsten, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't lie. No, you'll never be able to get a kidney transplant. And I was like, oh, SH. Oh. Didn't say it, but thought it. But so I thought, oh my gosh. And I was like, oh my gosh, you were kidding me. He saw I was down. I was not my normal, trying to be happy self. And he said, wait, but I can ask the kidney transplant team, and I'll see what they say. But Kirsten, they're going to say no. I don't want you to get your hopes up. All right, that's okay. At least you'll ask. So about a month and, probably the beginning of October, he came back. And he sat down and he pulled up a chair and sat down next to me. And he said, Kirsten, the kidney team says you cannot get a kidney. I was like, oh my gosh. And then he said, unless. I was like, oh my gosh, what? Unless you get into remission, and if you are able to get a kidney, you can get a transplant. I was floored. It ignited that fire back in me to keep fighting because I was like, oh my gosh, there's a chance. And he said that my particular cancer would actually do okay if I went into remission, got a kidney, and when the cancer comes back, they have new chemotherapies that won't hurt the kidney. So I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. But I had to get to remission. So 4.5 months later, February 2022, I made it to remission. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so I got the green light to start working on getting a kidney transplant. And boy, it takes some work. And I had to get an extra surgery in there too. But by the end of December of 2022, I got everything in. On Tuesday, January 10th, 2023, I was officially listed. And 5 days later, on January 15th, 2023, I received a kidney transplant thanks to my dear friend, who it was her birthday, January 15th, and January 15th, 2020 was when I almost lost my life. And January 15th, 2023, 3 years later, I got my life back. Thank you. And it's been awesome and it's been wonderful, but to be honest too, it has its own set of challenges. But if there's anything that I've learned from my journey, it's this: anything worth fighting for, anything worth living for, is not easy. It takes hard work, it takes grit, it takes patience, it takes blood, sweat, and tears. It can be painful, it can hurt. But if I can tell you one thing tonight, hold on. Never give up. Hold on for one more day, one more hour, one more minute, and even one more second, because you never know when your life will get better, and that can be anything besides cancer, anything in your life, because there is always, always hope. So I hope you hang in there and we can do this together. Thank you. Thank you.